Bell,
And I'm John Top.
and this is our presentation on mechanical versus tissue heart valves. So when would you need a heart valve replacement? Essentially, whenever too much blood is flowing in the wrong direction when the heart pumps. So the valve isn't closing all the way and you have a leakage and backflow. And that can occur for any number of reasons, including aging, heart attack, infection, birth defects, but the effects are the same typically in patients. Patients experience dizziness, chest pain, edema, palpitations, and breathing difficulties. And so in the image here, you can see the mitral, aortic, and tricuspid valves functioning. The pulmonary valve would be around the back. It's not clearly visible here. And mitral valve failure is the most common type of valve failure. And so assuming that you have to replace a valve, will a mechanical or biological valve be the best option, assuming you must pick one for all cases? So just give an overview of options. Biological valves are almost always the first choice for patients over 65, and they are developed through animal tissue mounted on a frame, which we'll get into later. And the lifetime is considered 10 up to maybe 20 years. They're less obtrusive. They don't have any sound, whereas there is a slight clicking noise with mechanical valves. And no blood thinners are required. They're not thrombogenic. Mechanical valves, on the other hand, do have a 20 to 30-year lifespan, but patients will have to be on a blood thinner for the remainder of their lifetime, which could be dangerous in heavy bleeding situations. Razor nicks aren't a problem, and there's a slight clicking noise during operation. And so getting into biological valves in more detail, they typically come from porcine, bovine, equine, or sometimes human heart tissue, and is preserved and mounted on a flexible frame, which is surrounded by fabric that can be sewn into the heart. And so what Dr. Bott from the Harvard Heart Letter is saying here in the bottom is that more doctors are tending to use more biological valves for implantation because they believe that in the future, operations will become less and less obtrusive and the valves better. And so they can just be replaced with something better and something easier to put in 10 years down the road. But as he says here, that's an unproven approach. Is the operations we have to put in valves through catheters they're already pretty good, but there's no real evidence to say that these operations or future valves will be so much better. Like the GTKO gene in pigs could improve resistance to inflammatory and immune response in humans. And so based on data from 4,686 patients between 50 and 70, you can see that the survival rate over 10 or 15 years for mechanical valves is better than that of biological valves. And John will get into mechanical valves a bit more.
Yeah. So to give a brief overview of mechanical valves, they're constructed from a rigid material such as titanium or carbon to form these solid bodies that can handle the pressures and the force within the heart for a long time. When it comes to mechanical valves, there are two main types that we use in modern medicine, a bileaflet valve and a tilting disc valve. These can be used to replace the aortic valve and a mitral valve. Mechanical valves are generally used in younger populations due to their ability to last a very long time, though recently it was found that the benefits of mechanical valves can extend up to people to age of 70. Looking into the mortality rates a little bit more, there were several studies that we looked at, and that in most cases under 70, the rate of mortality was significantly lower in patients with those who received mechanical valves compared to those who received tissue valves. All right, so to kind of wrap things up a little bit, there are several main factors that you have to take into account when you're deciding on which valve you want to get. There are main factors such as age, complication factors such as already on blood thinners, bleeding risk, and then also personal consideration. While tissue valves may trend upward in the future depending on the development of new valves, new procedures, and increase their use in younger patients, though looking through several different studies for both mechanical and tissue valves, we believe that in overall cases, mechanical valves will provide patients with the best outcomes, a longer life expectancy, and fewer revision surgeries needed. And then here are sources. Thank you for watching.